What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Done Love to Connect, and I'm back again with another video. Um, if you don't already know, this platform is called The Philosophy of Chillin'. And honestly, since having this vision and idea come to me, it's been interesting to experience the perceived evolution of it versus knowing where the execution came from of it all. Um, so I figured with questions that come to me, I might as well provide some introspective on the philosophy of chilling. So I released a video maybe in like season one that gave a slight preview and aimed to provide a synopsis of the breakdown of the purpose and mission of the philosophy of chilling. Uh, Yet I feel as if it didn't go deep enough. You know what I'm saying? And it deserves its own episode of explanation. So that's what I'm doing. I'll basically be going through some topics in relation to the platform, and we'll aim to try to provide as much context as possible in regards to what the philosophy of chilling is and the vision that it can continue to grow into. So I guess the question that I've always gotten from the jump is, what is the philosophy of chilling and how can I see it growing? Now, what is the philosophy of chilling? The philosophy of chilling is a mental framing that allows me to identify what I know to be true in the society and materialistic world that we live in today, and how I am able to digest the realities that exist within this plane of living. And by being able to identify those elements, the philosophy of chilling encompasses how I try to manage my human emotions and actions in regards to the response of what I'm receiving. That was a lot, but I'm gonna break it down. um, One, mindset framing. The philosophy. It's a philosophy of thinking, of prefacing information so that it can be digested and received from whoever is able to gain from it positively, or just in general in regards to information reception. So that aspect alone is indicating the fact that this ain't for everybody. Like, what I'm saying is not going to be welcome, accepted, recognized. You can go down the line. But this is content and words of understanding that don't always just submit in my own personal experience. Because my personal experience does not only reflect a accumulation of what I've been through personally. I am a consumer of knowledge, and I'm always hungry to learn more, regardless of if there are um, stereotypes or prejudices around me learning. Which is why of Chillin, which is what the philosophy describes, is coined because a lot of people meet me personally. And a lot of people, when they meet me, they have a perception of who I am as a person, whether they ask me questions directly or not. And a lot of the times I get feedback saying that, yo, you seem like you always chilling. Or, nah, Dunlap just quiet, bro. Like, she just be in the corner, like, doing shit. I don't even know. But it slick be on mute, though. You feel me? um, and then there are some people that recognize me and my observant tactics. And they be like, nah, man, she just watching y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? She just absorbing the atmosphere that's happening. And all of that is true simultaneously, which is why this platform isn't just a reflection of me personally, because all of the things that I absorb are not originated from me. It's from the souls that I have been able to connect with, not just in this lifetime, but the stories and the essence of another soul's presence that has been passed down through education, books, novels, movies that capture, you know, a variation of real life circumstances, or biographies where every detail should be reflective of what happened in reality. And then there's, my own experience along with the experiences of others that have passed their way along my journey. So it's a little bit of everything. And when it comes to managing not just emotions, but just information in general, it's so much that sometimes it can seem daunting to the fact that it's overwhelming, because it is so much. And sometimes that overwhelming feeling can create rigidity in learning new information, or just being open-minded to listening actively to new perspectives of understanding, or just ways in which individuals gain their principles on how to move forward in the life that they acknowledge to be true for them individually. And a lot of the times, because of my perception on what information has been present and relevant amongst generations, there have been individuals older than me that will tell me, yo, how you frame topics or facilitate discussions and conversations is so diplomatic. And all of that is embedded into the philosophy of chillin' and what I'm trying to articulate to any audiences that choose to listen. That's why I have the logo with the eye that has multiple personalities inside, and they're all being connected by the pineal gland of the brain that allows one to understand information on different planes. I'm trying to not necessarily synthesize the level of detail that I'm trying to convey, but I am trying to provide a synopsis of these principles because I'm gonna go into it a little more deeper, which is going into how I see this platform continuing to grow, even past myself, hopefully. But essentially, this is supposed to be encompassing of genuine life and a reflection of another way in which someone can choose to not just behave, but, well, and um and how they can open their minds up, even if you don't want to accept or whatever you choose to do with the information that comes to you. This platform is just supposed to be a center point of being able to actively listen in general. Therefore, when it comes to the vision of how I see this platform growing, it's not dependent on me. I did not start this platform to be like, hey, you need to listen to me. What I have to say is law, correct, and fuck everything else. No, that's not it. I'm doing this because I feel called to. And before I even got in front of a camera, I intentionally placed myself in both the good light and the darkness of reality. I've met those elements in both spectrums on the extremes. And if you know me personally, if you know my family, you might think, man, what? On the surface level, you was, but there's another aspect that how do I say this? In life, there are moments where there's nobody around you. No one can account for the things that you heard, saw, did, what have you. Those moments don't happen often, but they do occur. And in my life, I have literally been in so many different rooms and spaces around so many calibers of leaders and day players that if who I met and have touched in my lifetime today was reflected literally, publicly, the complexities of how the philosophy of chillin is conveyed through me would probably make sense. Probably, because you still don't know the context. And the philosophy of chillin is a platform that is purposed to help develop and digest that context in ways that may be beneficial to you and most definitely have been beneficial to me, while also being principles within my development that I have to revert back to relearn or to reapply in new ways, and to hold myself accountable for moments where maybe I didn't have those attributes exuding out of me within a present moment in reality. Which is why I call it the philosophy of chilling, because all of those aspects are true simultaneously. And when it comes to digesting the world for what it is, at least for me, I get so passionate. And the amount of passion within the body that I have been given in this time frame of reality. A lot of people choose not to respect it. A lot of people have intentionally tried to manipulate my involvement or contributions within spaces. There have been people that will intentionally try to talk about me in my face or comment on the things that I do, but passive aggressively. There are people that mentally in their brains are in a different time frame than the evolution that I see a lot of society trying to move forward to. Now, knowing that all those things are true, the fact that these elements are also true for other people too, their experiences alone, your experiences alone, if you were able to grasp on to any example that I just threw out from my own personal experience, that's just a drop in the bucket of elements within this world and elements within human interactions that can incite levels of frustration, irritation, exhaustion, stress that again can be completely overwhelming and can honestly override the nervous system to a degree where you may not even be responding in your authenticity. Now, it may be the authenticity of the craziness inside because somebody pulled it out, but that may not be how you wanted to channel or control that aspect of your personality. And I say that because, shit, that's my own experience. Like, I know for a fact that but when I have been at spaces where I have felt like my passion is too intense for the people around me, especially in regards to the levels of details that I want to bring to the forefront of transparent scrutiny, it's quite interesting to see the responses that people process in their minds mentally. And I have to find ways in which to navigate these spaces so that at least as long as I am here, because I also accept the fact that what I vocalize and share within communities has been deemed as life-threatening for me because of how it may push the buttons of somebody or the agenda of another person that may see what I say and what I know to be true as a threat to the progression of that plan or vision. So I have the philosophy of chilling because I'm aware of all of these realities and I've accepted them to be true at a very young age before I was visually present to you. With that knowledge, I've had to learn how to adapt to different environments so that I don't lose control prematurely, or so that someone doesn't or that someone doesn't pull it out of me in a way that I do not want my actions to override the purpose that has been placed within me. So I created the philosophy of chillin to encompass all of those complexities into one. Like, yeah, all the reality is true, yet the vision is too. And again, going into what I see the philosophy of chillin growing into is just an expanded understanding of digesting information that you may or may not agree with. But I'm hoping that by sharing this information, it allows for a different conversation to be conducted. Because honestly, I really want to say fuck the diplomacy. Fuck it. I really genuinely I want to address things specifically, directly, and to a degree where it may create uncomfortability. It may cause somebody's mind to lapse on the registration of what I'm saying, either because their brain has to have that information restructured in order to digest it, or because they're just choosing to ignore it. But I want to bring it to the forefront. But I always cannot. I cannot always do that because of the realities that I witness in regards to not just human interaction, but in regards to how people are willing to process information in order for them to still be able to get up the next day and do what they need to do, not just for themselves individually, but for the family that they've been given as well too. And it's all a balancing act because a lot of the times we're all pulling from the same principles. We're just pulling from those principles in different aspects that are digestible So this is just my version of that strategy to digest everything around me. Because even people that know me, they don't know everything. And that's not a statement that is just true for me. That's a statement that is true for every single person living on the earth as it is our current globe and environment. Billions of people, same thing, different variations. So how do you break outside of your bubble, recognize, acknowledge, and be able to preface your actions in a way that allows you to recognize what someone is deeming to be true, scientifically backed up or not, it don't matter. But what someone is, deeming to be true, versus, well, not versus, but understanding what is true with all the complexities of life, busting outside of that bubble so that you can accept all those complexities of life outside of just your environment, or that environment can be broken down into many specifics. And I can go into all of it. However, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stick to the point that I was saying in regards of acknowledging all that complex information and then basing your actions not on your personal vision and what you deem to be true, but basing that vision around protecting the life forces, regardless of what you acknowledge as the right thing to do. Amen. I can break down the statement and it's gonna be crazy for sure. Cause it's definitely one of those type things where it can definitely get spicy in here real quick, trying to bring specificities into everything that I'm saying right now currently. And I'm gonna try not to get as detail oriented as I could possibly be, because again, the philosophy of chillin is hopefully going to grow into a coined mindset framing that allows one to be in a room with someone that they may disagree with and still be able to have a conversation where they're actively listening and actively creating solutions that support the protection and essence of a human life, while also allowing them the, I guess, allowing them to be able to not lose themselves or take in what being able to have these conversations or being able to really digest new information and making you feel as if you're stuck. in the past versions of yourself, trying to get to the new version or the vision, the complete vision of what you know to be true. So that's where the philosophy of chilling came from. That's a little bit of how I want the philosophy of chilling to continue to grow. And honestly, at the end of the day, the last element of the philosophy of chilling that I wanted to speak to was really the reflection of development that is being emphasized, not just on this platform, but in the presence of the branding. There are so many different communities, demographics, organizations, what have you. Excuse me. And as all of these entities exist, there have been silos created and communication that these silos understand that allow them to create a bubble of collaboration and networking in the parameters and the, I guess, traditions that have worked for them historically and what has been fueling day-to-day lives presently. And all of those things are great. But there's still a developmental piece in regards to how we can continue to grow in these foundations and in these systems that me personally, I don't feel as if human society has tapped into really. So when it comes to the philosophy of chilling, this is supposed to be an example of development. And that development is boundless. It's not meant to reflect a form of limitation outside of the limitations that you put on yourself. And how do you deal with addressing those different stages of that same development? Because even speaking for myself, I'm currently going through it, and I know for a fact until the day that I die is never going to be done. It don't matter if I get erased from this earth with no one knowing any contributions or any, work that I've done, or no matter how large either this platform or contributions that I've aided to, and even the smallest aspects can grow into. So as you all continue to engross yourself within the different conversations and the different revelations, and honestly just whew, direct how do I say it, the direct value that the guests on this platform give to you, man, is, if you choose to, I honestly hope that it's helpful to you. And when I say if you choose to, I mean if you choose to listen, if you choose to continue to engage, etc., etc. But seriously, I hope that it's helpful to you because this helps me. This is not my full therapy, but this is forms of it that have helped me along the way when it was, just me at the end of the day, helping myself get through different tough situations and trying to think through ways in which I can respond better outside of just responding out of the passion that fuels the anger or the stress or the worry or, just how I break down the next best step or action to commit to in regards of just existing in general. It may seem one way on the surface level, but everybody knows internally it's a whole different world happening, bro. And that world inside it can be so toiling that honestly you don't even feel like being yourself when you walk out the door and you gotta grab a mask just to make sure that you're responding appropriately for the environment that you're in currently. It's hard to drop the mask when you know for a fact this mask can get me where I need to go for today so that I can deal with whatever I'm dealing with behind closed doors. And honestly, it's tiring, bro. And the philosophy of chilling for me has been what has helped me take the mask off and chip away at it incrementally. Like, I never said I knew everything. No, I'm still learning. I love being a student. I don't love the way people scrutinize the word. Again, the philosophy of chilling. Like, yes, even the word student, some people scrutinize it, and sometimes they try to utilize it to belittle your experience or the things that you're able to contribute to. The philosophy of chilling is applied to it so that even in situations like that, someone can step away or look back or, just give themselves a moment and be like, hey, bro, what's the best actions for me to do? I still feel these emotions. I still want to respond in this way, but how can I channel all of that so it doesn't impact me detrimentally, but still conveys what I needed to in the present moment that I have to, put this energy towards too. So how do you get through it? I apply the philosophy of chilling because I know that someone may have good intentions, but even regardless of those intentions, I mean, the words and the actions still have an impact, whether it's on me or somebody else individually, collectively, community. It can be prefaced in so many different ways in regards to the situations that this type of mindset can be applied to. And honestly, That's the essence of the platform in regards of trying to pull out the essence, not just from within me, but from within the souls that are meant to be touched by the words or the experiences of the individuals that grace this platform too. So, at the end of the day, the philosophy of chilling is a mindset and a framework that someone can actively listen to. And whether you agree with it, whether you agree with the person that it's coming from, it's able to be applied in a way that you can still actively listen. And if you choose to, apply within the actions that you are driven to do to evolve the ways in which silos are able to interconnect, not just, to be an ally, but to create a more an evolved system that actually supports the gray areas of life outside of the black and white that has been constructed before. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. The conversations that are had on this platform are purposed to be those smaller pockets of complexities and examples of how the brand can be not just exemplified, but also, well, not but. That's why I keep stopping, because I'm trying to, improve on the words that I'm utilizing. And how this can be utilized to develop the willingness to utilize the capacity of your brain, or more specifically, one's intelligence, outside of the comfortability that you've been used to presently. So that's essentially the gist of what the philosophy of chilling is, and how I see the philosophy of chilling continuing to grow past me. Honest and truthfully, I have no expectations when it comes to the growth of this platform or the growth for me individually. What I do have an expectation towards is myself, and being able to uphold and execute the actions and the understanding that I know I need to do. And I hope that this provides a little more context around what the philosophy of chilling is and what it should mean to somebody that chooses to listen. But at the end of the day, that ain't got nothing to do with me. So, I mean, for sure, like, I'm just chilling, you feel me? I know that there are still going to be more questions around the things that I said in this session today. And if and when engagement shows me where to focus in on what needs to be explained further or more in depth, I will be welcome to it. But until that day, this is what I have to say. And I believe I've conveyed everything that I've needed to in this present moment today. But yeah. There's one more thing that I'm supposed to say. And it's in regards to the presence of the philosophy of chilling. And I said it briefly a little bit, earlier. And I stated how at least my personal passion can come across as being intense. And with the philosophy of chilling, it is supposed to reflect the intentionality of development and recognition in regards to life in general. And sometimes that type of presence can incite different emotions when people come in proximity to not just me, but the platform in general. And honest and truthfully, the philosophy of chilling is the better version of me in regards to saying, fuck it. Like, I'll call it for what it is. And I'll look at it dead in the eyes and see the reflections of the energy that is being perceived. And the philosophy of chilling steps in and says, acknowledge it. Don't let it control you and your reaction. So, that is what I'm embracing in regards to the philosophy of chilling. And it's an everyday step. And I fully welcome it. Now, is it frustrating? Yes. Because being in a mental framework that you can recognize other individuals are not able, I'm not going to say not able, because everyone is capable. But they might not be there yet. They might not be there yet. And it's frustrating because at a certain point, especially in regards to other principles of faith that have stood the testament of time, when you have an open mindset and you know that someone is not there yet, the elapsed time that it takes for them to either get to that point or for you to be able to stay open-minded in the transition or in the development of that evolution. It has its own trials and tribulations. And honestly and truthfully, it's the principles of the philosophy of chillin that remind me that it's not about me, yo. Like, how I feel is, you know what I'm saying? Like, that should, I gotta recognize that. I feel it for a reason. I go through it for a reason. You go through it for a reason. You feel it for a reason. And that reason is important. That reason is important. The surface level, it exists for a reason. However, it's called the surface level for a reason. Because there's more underneath. And even though I'm able to identify the surface level, I want to be able to respond from the in-depth context and wisdom that I know to be true. At least in the ways that I need to respond to. So now I've said everything I needed to say. And like any other time frame, any other session, let me tell you something. I can stay here and we can go into it. We can jot down the literal experiences, the literal stereotypes, prejudices, policies, not just in 2026, but things that have happened previously, trends, interactions, not just with humanity, but in regards of self as well too. Like, I can really get into it too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to, cause that's a little too much. For right now, at this moment. But it's coming soon. Because at the end of the day, growth and development, it can't be controlled. Because you never see it coming until it hits you. And once that revelation actualizes itself within you, then you have to choose what you're gonna do. And that's a whole nother aspect of conversation, I'm telling you. So, with what I've said thus far, that's what we need to know. So, I've been Dunlap the Connect, and I can stay on this couch and continue to talk to you for hours on end about different things that the philosophy of chilling really touches. However, I have to go, and I know you do too. So I hope this brief episode was helpful, and I'll see you soon. Peace.